Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome to Penguin Live TV. My name is Ranger Steven. I'm going to be your host tonight, moving the camera around, trying to find all those lovely penguins for you to watch tonight. And joining me, we have Tom, who's our producer this evening.
Hi everyone, welcome to all the regulars, the big welcome to all the newbies. Keep the questions coming in, we're getting lots of interaction, which is fantastic. Anything on YouTube that comes through questions, I'll be keeping an eye on, and we'll try and filter a few through tonight. On Facebook, we'll have rangers answering within the next 24 hours, so keep them coming in. We're getting lots of fantastic questions. Have a good night.
Lovely. So yes, please ask your questions in the comments. We're going to do our best to get to them tonight. Hopefully be able to answer them on air as well. So as we're looking out over here across the beach tonight, we're waiting for the sky to get dark and we're waiting for the penguins to come home. This evening, we have two rangers counting our penguins. We have Linda in the distance. You might be able to see her on the stands way down there in a bit of an orange jacket at the bottom of the stands. And in that building on the left, we have Paul. There are two rangers here tonight to count all of the penguins that come home. And last night, we had a big group of penguins. It was about 2,119 penguins crossed our beach last night, which is a very big number. Any night we get over 2,000 penguins is a great night. Hopefully we get similar numbers tonight, but we never know exactly how many penguins are coming home. So stay tuned, and hopefully we'll get some nice groups coming home. And as we're looking across this beach, I would like to take this time to acknowledge this land and acknowledge the traditional custodians of this land. The Bunurong, as the traditional custodians, I want to pay my respects to their elders, both past, present, and emerging. But the Bunurong called this land Malau. Phillip Island would be known as Malau, and they would give you a womanjika, a welcome to Malau. As we're looking across, I'm going to do a slow scan across this beach. What I want you to do at home is to watch and see if you spot a raft of penguins. Now, a raft of penguins is a group of penguins on the ocean. They look like a little bit of a black patch out on the water. And keep your eyes open. You might be able to spot them before I do. We're very lucky. It's really beautiful weather here on Phillip Island. It's almost felt like summer, which is very unusual because it rarely feels like summer down here on the southern coast of Australia. And I think I do see a raft out there. Still a ways away, which means we got a little bit of time. I'm going to do my best to zoom in on these penguins. It might be a bit tricky to get them into focus because they're so far away. So be patient with me. Oh, there they are. Let me see if I can get a little bit closer. Can you see that little raft of penguins out there, the little heads sticking out over the water? They sit very low in the water, and right now our penguins are hucking to each other. They're making a very short, sharp sound, a huck, which basically in penguin talks means, here I am, come to me, guys. And they're all making that noise trying to get together out on the ocean to form the biggest groups they can. Because when they're ready to come to shore, there's safety in numbers. So I'll try and keep these groups in view, and hopefully we'll be able to watch them swimming home, which is pretty exciting. Now, as we are watching these penguins, I do want to tell you about who we are here at Phillip Island. We're the Phillip Island Nature Parks. We're a self-funded, not-for-profit organization, and we are a conservation organization at heart, meaning we're here to protect the little penguins, protect the local wildlife on Phillip Island. We got some? Let's have a look. See, we might have some penguins that might be coming in soon. Okay, let me zoom out. We'll see what we got. Whereabouts was that? Oh, over at Penguins Plus. They've already come out. My goodness. Look at that. They've already crossed the beach. How quick was that? I wasn't ready for them. I thought they'd be a while yet. These penguins are eager little beavers ready to get home tonight. Look at that group. All right, I want you guys to have a count. See how many penguins you can count in this group. We're going to get Paul to send us through the numbers tonight. And hopefully you guys will have a nice accurate count. You can watch us make sure we're getting an accurate count as well. Wow. So put that in the comments how many penguins you think are in this group. This is just fantastic. That is a big group. For those of you at home, it's definitely more than 100 penguins. Easily over that. Not even close. Oh, they're pausing there a little bit. Something's caught their eye. The penguins at the front are looking around. They're wondering what's happening. Maybe there's a goose nearby. For those of you that have been watching the last few nights, we did have a mama goose with a couple of goslings harassing our penguins on Friday night. That was really exciting to watch. Don't worry, the penguins were all fine. Geese do not eat penguins. The Cape Barren geese here on Phillip Island are herbivores. But when they've got their goslings, they're not going to let a penguin or any animal get too close to them. That's a lovely big group. But yes, here on Phillip Island Nature Parks, we're here to protect these penguins. We're here to protect the Cape Barren geese, all of the native species that we have here on the island. We even have some koalas that were visiting us or being taken care of by us in from the eastern Victorian bushfires we had last summer. We're here to help protect all of the native species. Look at these guys just getting right up into the water. They're going to jump into our little temporary pool, our ephemeral pool that we have here. They're just diving right in, getting ready to go. I'm just going to zoom in on these guys because they're doing some lovely stuff here on the rocks as they're scrambling over. Oh, so we've got a couple of people who've been guessing the numbers. I've been passed a note. We had 257 penguins in that first group. And Sarah Davy made that guess tonight. So well done. You should be our next penguin counter this evening. Fantastic. It's very tricky to count all of those penguins as they're shuffling around, going back and forth. I'm going to swap over to the penguin highway. We've got a shell gritter going the wrong way, if you will. So we've got that big group coming all across that penguin highway on their journey home. This poor shell gritter, you saw the back of them, was thinking, I wanted to get to the beach, but I'm getting hustled and bustled by that good group of penguins. So a shell gritter is that penguin who's got its back to us right now. It's a female. It's we like to call it a pregnant female, or more specifically, it's a female that's with egg. Slightly different than pregnancy, but she's going down to the beach to peck at the shell grit in the sand. Now, because she's developing eggs, she's a bit low on calcium, and all those tiny pieces of shell that you get in the sand are very high in calcium, so that's going to satisfy her pregnancy cravings tonight. But she's got to get through that big influx of penguins that are on their way home. Unfortunately, penguins don't really have too much road sense. They don't know which side of the road to be on, so they'll just weave in between each other. Or if you're smart, you're just going to stand still and let the big groups go around you and wait for a nice gap. Now, for those of you who want to help us in our conservation work, you can look at a link just below the video tonight. There's a link to the Penguin Foundation. That is our charity organization, and they take care of a lot of things here on Phillip Island. They help to fund our wildlife clinic, our penguin rehabilitation clinic, where we take care of not just penguins, but a lot of seabirds that are injured or sick and need to be taken care of. We take care of those wild animals, we nurse them back to health, and we release them back into the wild. We'll keep an eye on that penguin in the future. I'm going to go back to the beach to see what's happening here on the rocks. You can spot that shell gritter in the top right corner. See if she makes her way down to the beach. Now that shell gritter, she's almost ready to lay her eggs. She might lay her egg tonight, maybe tomorrow, within the next few days, almost assuredly. And she'll be laying 2 eggs. Our penguins, when they have eggs, always have 2 eggs. They always have the 2 babies, and they try to raise them both to adulthood. I'm going to zoom in on these lovely penguins here. Look at them preening themselves. Oh, let's get that camera into focus. There we go. It's a little bit better. So you can see them with their beaks reaching around to their feathers, brushing it all off. Some of them are shaking their heads, getting those little salty boogers out of their eyes. Our penguins have a gland in their head that helps to filter out the salt from the salt water when they drink that in. And they shake their heads off to get rid of all those salty boogers and make them fly off in the distance. They don't want those stuck to their face all night long. But you'll see other penguins preening themselves, making sure that they keep their feathers meticulous, clean, and well-oiled. Because a well-oiled penguin is going to be very good on the water. They're going to be able to float on the surface of the water, and they're going to look beautiful for their partners at home, which is pretty exciting for them. A lot of these penguins have probably already paired off for the season. The mating season has really begun here at the Penguin Parade. It's a little bit early this time around this year, but they've really started, and there's only a few penguins that probably have not paired off already. That's all right, they still have a chance. There's always a chance to find a partner even later in the season. Our breeding season goes until about January, maybe the end of January, and then we change seasons into the molting season. So these penguins stopping off on their journey home, making sure that they're looking good tonight. Let's zoom out, see if we can spot any more penguins on the water's edge. Do we have any questions, Tom?
Yes, we have a good question from Cillian. I'm not sure if that's the way to pronounce it, but she says, or asked, is it the same penguins that come in each night?
What a great question. So is it the same penguins that come in each night? And the answer to that is no, it's not the same penguins. We might get a few repeat penguins, of course, but our penguins, they might spend a few days on land. And when they go to the ocean, they'll spend a bit longer out there. Our penguins can sleep on the water, and they might come home maybe once every few days during the breeding season. And in the winter months, when they don't have babies, they can spend weeks or even a month on the ocean at a time. And look at this lovely big group that's coming out right now. I wonder how many penguins are in that group. I'm going to swap over. See that shell gritter? That shell gritter still hasn't moved. It's interesting. They should be making their way down to the beach, but they might be a bit confused of all the penguins on their journey home. Well, they might make their way down to the beach when they're ready. If they do, they're going to be finding large groups of penguins on their journey home. So we got the second group of penguins crashing into this first group. We'll see if they just push them through and knock any into the water on the journey home tonight. Now, penguins are not too polite when they're on their journey home. They don't mind bustling into each other, scrambling over the rocks, slipping and sliding into each other. And some of them, they're not going to stop around. They're just bustling through. We'll see if any use our little diving platform here. We got this nice little jumping platform, a little grass here. Some of them might like to walk across it and dive off the end. It's pretty high up right now. The water's gone down a little way, so some of the penguins might be a bit too nervous. It's a bit too high up for them. They're not high divers, our penguins. We can watch them swimming through the water at a very leisurely pace. This is just a cruising speed for our penguins. They're in no rush tonight. And they'll swim about maybe 4 kilometers an hour through here. Just a walking pace, really. And they are going on a journey home. Oh, there's one penguin that looks to be outside of a burrow right here. I wonder if that penguin's already found its way home. Well, we might come back to that penguin soon. There's a nice group coming up the Penguin Highway in the top right of the screen there, but I'm going to follow these penguins on the journey home. If you were watching on Friday, this is where we had the showdown between the geese and the penguins. Ooh, that top right corner is looking a little dark. I wonder if Paul has remembered to turn on the lights there at Penguins Plus. Do you guys mind giving him a radio and asking him to see if those lights are on for us, please? It's a little bit dark over there in that top right corner. Don't worry, the lights that we use are not really affecting our penguins' eyes. They're for our sake this evening. They use very yellow colored lights, almost orange in color sometimes, and those colors are invisible to our penguins' eyes, or more or less invisible to our penguins' eyes. So if those lights do turn on, it shouldn't affect our penguins too much. All right, look at them go. Lovely. I just love watching these penguins on their journey home. Some of them are going home to take care of some babies. Others are looking at going home and finding their partner and starting a family. Fantastic. Oops. I'm going to go just to this home screen here. I'm going to find these penguins on the rocks as well, nice and brightly lit up. There's a lovely group of penguins just stuck there in the top right corner. I might try and show those guys. It's very dark. Yeah, it's a little bit dark there. It's all right. The penguins won't mind the darkness. They think they're walking home in the dark anyways. We'll just stay our focus on these penguins down here that have got the bright light for them. They don't really notice the light, but we do. It helps our eyes to see them. And lots of penguins, they're just standing on those rocks. I like to call those rocks the resting rocks. Our penguins have been out on the ocean for a long time. They've done a very big crossing of the beach. Some of them just want to take a break, relax on the rocks, maybe socialize a bit. You might see some penguins preening each other. I might see something right here of that nature. There's a couple of penguins right there that were preening each other. Ooh, can I get you guys into focus? That's the tricky part, is getting the focus just right. Might be zoomed in a bit too much in this lighting. So the penguins will try and preen each other, preen themselves. Very social birds. These penguins might not even know each other. But it's useful to scratch each other's back. If you scratch mine, I'll scratch yours type of mentality. The better off, the more you help your fellow penguins, the more help they're going to give you. Do we have any questions, Tom?
We've got similar questions from Bethina and Arena. How long do our little penguins live for?
Great question. From Bethina and Arena, how long do our penguins live for? So the longest we've ever had one of our penguins live was about 26 years old, which is a very, very old penguin. They usually don't live that long. The average age for our penguins is actually around 7 years old, which is a big difference between 7 and 26 years old, isn't it? But what I like to say is I compare it to a dog you might have at home. If you have a 10-year-old dog at home, he's got the gray whiskers. He's a very, very old dog, isn't he? And 10 years for a dog is a good age. But the world record for the oldest dog was 29 years old. So sometimes they just live a long time. And that's great. So that 26-year-old 26-year-old penguin would have been a great-great-great-great-great-grandfather. Very old, had probably a good legacy left behind before he passed away. Oh, this penguin looks like he's going to dive off the diving board. Is he brave enough? Ooh, there we go. Nice little cannonball into the water. Look at him go. All it takes is for one penguin to do it, and the rest will start following suit. We'll see if any more penguins decide to get a little bit of a cannonball in here. It's fun watching these penguins swimming home. It's very unusual for our penguins to be swimming part the way home because this pool is very temporary. It does not last. It's only here when we get large amounts of rain. And here on Phillip Island, it's been pretty wet. So let's watch these penguins on their journey home. I do want to let everybody know that we do have roughly 5 minutes left before we're going to wrap up our stream tonight. So get your questions into the comments. We're going to try and answer maybe one, maybe two more questions this evening if we have the time. And if we don't get around to your questions, put them on the Facebook one. We can answer those questions by typing out a response in the next 24 hours. I want to give a big shout out to all my fellow Rangers who are maybe in Melbourne typing out those questions, typing out those answers to the questions. We love the work you do, guys. It's just fantastic. And very soon, we're going to be lucky enough to open up our doors to the public or to regional Victoria on the 28th of this month. So about a week away, we'll be able to open up our doors again, and we'll be lucky enough to see some people watching our penguins. And if you're lucky, you might be able to come down and watch the penguins yourself, which is a much better experience than just watching it on a computer because you get to enjoy the smells, the aroma of our penguins, which can be quite pungent during the breeding season. Any of you who have babies at home probably know what I'm talking about. That smell will stay with you for a long time. And for these penguins, they're not lucky enough to have nappies for their babies. Their babies just make a mess in the home, which is a bit unpleasant. Oh, good cannonball there. I give that one a 9 out of 10. We'll see if this guy's going on a journey home, which way he's headed. Some of our penguins have our lucky homes on the beach, only a few meters to walk before they get home. Other penguins, they might have to walk almost 2 kilometers to get home. That guy's just going around the dark corner. I won't be able to follow him too well. But these guys here, they seem to all be stopped in the grass. They're not in any rush to get home. All of these lovely plants that you see here at the Penguin Parade, they're native plants. We try to keep this a natural place. There are quite a few invasive weeds here on Phillip Island that our conservation team work to keep under control so they don't spread. Our penguins, they need those natural plants, native plants, to have a safe burrow underground. It gives them a nice little areas to duck under those bushes to keep them safe from the predators in the daytime. And if you want to help us in our conservation work of keeping these penguins in a safe environment, you can donate to the Penguin Foundation, our little charity organization. And that money, you can spend it on adopting a penguin or becoming a penguin pal. There's different benefits for each types. And that money is going back into helping our penguins, helping the native species on Phillip Island, including the Cape Breton geese, the wallabies, even the critically endangered eastern barred bandicoots, a very cute little animal that we've been working with the Melbourne Zoo to help drive their numbers up, get them off the extinct and the wild list and into the critically endangered. And things have been going very well. I've been lucky enough to do some trapping of the eastern barred bandicoots, giving them a health check and all the rest. And they are very cute little marsupials. All right. Lovely, lovely groups of penguins. I think the numbers tonight are going to be very high, maybe more than we had last night. But if you're curious to know if we have more penguins tonight than last night, you're going to have to tune in tomorrow night. We will release the final count tomorrow evening during our stream. Last night we had 2,119 penguins. We'll see how many more or maybe how many less we have tonight. But I do want to say a big thank you for everybody for watching our stream tonight. Once again, my name is Ranger Stephen, and joining me tonight we had Ranger Tom. We wish you all the very best. Have a wonderful evening.